evening, friends. Hope everybody is well. Okay, now today I am going to make my alternative hot cross buns. I don't actually like hot cross buns. I don't like dried fruit and stuff, and I don't really like spices and cinnamon. So I've never made this before, so why not make it in front of you lot, okay? And we will hope it's successful. But we'll find out at the end. Okay, so I'm going to just read out my ingredients in case any of you want to have a go. You're going to need 120 grams of chocolate buttons or chocolate drops. I'm just going to use Cadbury's chocolate buttons, and I'm going to break them up with my rolling pin. Okay. Then you're going to need 7 grams of dried yeast, which is something I've never used in my life, but I went to Tesco's and you buy it in a little box and it comes in sachets, and it comes in, luckily, 7 grams sachets, so that's good. Okay. And then you want 175 grams of caster sugar, 300 mils of semi-skim milk, which I've warmed up in the microwave. I think it's got to be room temperature. You're going to use 1 tablespoon of that to glaze the top of the alternative hot cross buns, okay? 600 grams of strong white flour, which I didn't have, again, never used it, so I went and bought some. I think that's the sort of stuff because it's a bready mixture, isn't it? So I guess it's just different to the ordinary white flour you'd buy. 75 grams of unsalted butter, which is quite soft. 1 medium egg, you're going to use the yolk only. And then 50 grams of plain flour, but those couple of bits are going to be used right at the end. Okay, so those are your basic ingredients, and now we're going to have a go. Okay, so basically I've got a little jug here. I'm going to pour my dried yeast in, and then you're going to add 15 grams of the caster sugar. Good, okay. And then you're going to have 4 tablespoons of warm milk, sorry. Okay, so 4 tablespoons, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to give that a bit of a stir. Now apparently, in the next 5 minutes, this is going to foam up. It must be some kind of chemical reaction with the yeast. We will find out, won't we? Hopefully it will work. So giving that a bit of a stir, looking a bit lumpy. Hopefully that will sort itself out very soon. So I'm going to put that to one side, okay? And I'm going to put into that my 600 grams of strong white flour. Okay. Oh, I need a pinch of, forgot pinch of salt. So a little bit of salt into the flour, okay? And then you're going to put 110 grams of the caster sugar, which I've weighed out, into the flour. And it's getting your hands dirty time again. Okay, hands are clean. Now this time I'm not going to take my Fitbit off. You can see it's there because I haven't done enough steps today, so I really want the credit for any steps I'm taking. I did say on my last video that I'm going to do a review of my Fitbit. I will be doing that. The reason I haven't done it yet is that I keep discovering all these amazing things that you can do with your Fitbit. There's various apps you can download onto your phone. To be honest, I'm absolutely loving it, and I'm actually starting to think they should be handed out on the NHS because they really do make you do more steps. And I didn't realise how I suppose I am quite inactive because I'm a driving instructor, so I'm sitting down all day, but I really didn't realise quite how bad I was. Anyway, we'll talk about Fitbit another day. Sorry, it's my braces getting in the way again. So now I'm going to put my unsalted butter in. When this has become a breadcrumb consistency, I have to say that slowly because really the lisping gets quite bad on these braces. I'm sorry to keep going on about the braces, but they are quite a big part of my life. And if anyone else gets braces, I'm happy to talk to you, or any help, guidance you want to talk about, I'd love to hear from you. So I'm just rubbing this into breadcrumbs. Now you could do this recipe over the Easter holidays, and if you've got children or grandchildren, honestly, I think they would love to make this. So once you've got it into nice breadcrumbs, you're then going to add in your yeast mixture. You're going to form a well in the middle of this flour mixture, and you're going to add it in. The only thing is, I can see that my yeast mixture is not frothing up or foaming up, whatever it's meant to do. What shall I do about that? I just don't know. does it have to foam to make this recipe successful? We know I've had things go wrong before. Hate to mention that chocolate mousse because we all know what happened with that, although it did still taste lovely. So that's my breadcrumb mix done. It really is not frothy. I mean, surely that would have started doing something by now, wouldn't it? And it's not like it's old yeast. You know, I've only just bought this from Tesco's. What are you playing at, Tesco's? What shall I do? Do I add it in, or do I wait a few more minutes in the hope that it's has some kind of miracle? Do you know what? I'm just going to go for it, and I'm going to make a well in the middle, and it's going in. It's gone in. Keep your fingers crossed that this is actually going to work. Okay, so I'm going to now mix in my flour with the yeast. And I'm now starting to actually smell a bit of a yeasty smell. So let's hope it's doing whatever it's meant to do. Now, I've now got to pour in the rest of my warmed milk. So I shall do that. And apparently this is going to become quite a sticky, wettish consistency. Okay, so I've mixed my yeasty mixture up. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add my chocolate buttons. And I've got my rolling pin, and I've given them a little bit of a bash, okay? I mean, I guess you could have them whole if you wanted, but I kind of want them in little, well, fairly smallish bits, okay? And all I'm doing is I'm using 3 small bags. So that's all my chocolate buttons gone in, and now I'm going to mix them in. I'm now going to get a bit of flour and put it onto the board so I'm not actually going to roll this out. What you do is you have to knead it for about 10 minutes. So I'm going to get it out of this bowl and put it onto here. Whew, that is heavy. Okay, let's put that out the way a bit. So I'm going to get a bit more flour so I can actually handle this dough mix. And you're going to knead it, so you're going to kind of move it around, and it does take about 10 minutes. Children would absolutely love to get involved with this. Right, so we're moving it around, and you kind of stretch it out, okay? Keep turning it over, stretch it out, and that's for about 10 minutes, so I won't make you go through the pain of watching me for 10 minutes do this. But basically what you're going to do after that is you're then going to get hold of a clean bowl. This had flour in, which is fine, okay? And you're going to grease the bowl, so I've actually got a spray of oil, and you'll then, once you've kneaded it for 10 minutes, you're going to put your dough mix into the bowl, cover it with some greased cling film, and you've got to leave it somewhere fairly warm for an hour, and hopefully it will double in size. It's called proving. Right, so you'll see me later when this dough hopefully has doubled in size. We'll find out. Okay, see you later. Right, my mixture, I don't know if it's doubled in size, but it's definitely got bigger, so I'm really happy with that. I'm going to take it out of the bowl, and what it then says to do is you tip it out, and it says it makes about 16 hot cross buns. I need a bit of flour. Gosh, you can really smell the yeast. Although it's kind of big and heavy, there's a kind of a lightness about it as well. It's really lovely and squishy. So I'm just going to kind of push it down gently with my hands. And I'm going to cut it in half to start with. And I've got quite a big knife with a serrated edge so it cuts through nicely. And I'm just going to keep cutting it. It's got to go into 16, and then you kind of roll it up into balls and you put it onto baking trays, which are either greased or lined. Okay, now I would say these are massive, so I'm going to cut that up again and roll it up. And what you've got to do is when you place it onto your baking trays, you've got to then, so I've left it for 1 hour to get bigger. Now I'm doing this. Once it's on the baking trays, you've got to leave it for an hour again, and apparently they'll expand again. I'm going to do more than 16 because I don't want them absolutely massive, because that's another thing about hot cross buns. I usually find them just too big. And as these might be slightly richer because of the chocolate, we probably don't want them too massive. in an hour's time, I'll come back to you again and I'll show you whether these have expanded. Okay, so you're actually going to see that I'm doing them smaller than what they actually say probably to do, and I'll tell you how many I get out of this mixture. Some of them will be a bit bigger than others because obviously you're just kind of roughly guessing your size really. So I've rolled out my little dough balls and I've actually managed to get 21. The recipe says 16, but I don't want them too massive, okay? So there they are on the baking trays with grease-proof paper. Then what it says to do is you dampen a cloth and you place the cloth over. I don't know why you dampen them, whether that's so it doesn't stick or whether that does something to the dough. Maybe it keeps it nice and moist or something. And apparently you then put it somewhere fairly warm, leave it for an hour, and they're going to get bigger. So when that has happened, I will show you the result of that. One more hour has now passed and I'm going to have a little look at my hot cross buns. Okay, they don't look any bigger, but never mind. We're going to carry on and hope for the best, aren't we? So basically, here they are, and the next job to do is you're going to get 1 egg yolk and 1 tablespoon of milk, put that together, and then you're just going to whisk that up a little bit. Sorry if it's noisy. And then you're going to just brush the buns with the egg yolk and milk mixture, which will give it a lovely golden colour when you cook them in the oven, okay? Meanwhile, you're going to put your oven on to 230 or gas mark 8, okay? So the oven is just preheating gently. Once I've brushed my buns with the egg yolk mixture, I then have to do a little cross on each one. That is my lovely eggy mixture done, so I'm happy with that, brilliant, okay. Put that slightly over there, and what I've got here is I've got 50 grams of plain flour, I've got a tablespoon of melted butter, and I need 4 tablespoons of water, okay. I'm not quite sure how this is going to go because I would have thought this is going to get a bit lumpy. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now I'm just stirring the water into the plain flour, and then I'm going to tip my butter in, my melted butter tablespoon, mixing that up, and it's got to be a nice fairly smooth paste because you're going to put this into your piping bag. If it feels a bit thick, then add a little bit of water, and that's all I'll do is I'll kind of keep adding bits of water until I feel like it's a smooth paste. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to have it too runny because it will just run off the actual buns, won't it? So I've mixed that up into a paste. I'm going to now try and get this into my piping bag, which I don't know how easy that's going to be, but anyway, let's see how we get on. So I've now put my flour paste mixture into my piping bag, and I'm hoping you're able to see this. Perhaps I'll start over here, and I'm now going to pipe a cross shape, or 2 lines obviously just in different directions, onto my hot cross buns. So I pipe a line, and then with a pair of scissors, because it's quite gloopy and sticky, which obviously you want it to be, I'm snipping off each end. Otherwise, I found on the first couple, it's literally pulling it off the bun, which is quite annoying. So I've piped those now, and I'm going to put them in the oven on the high temperature, as I mentioned, for 5 minutes. And I'm going to turn it down, and apparently you want to turn it down to 190 or gas 5 and cook for 10 to 15 minutes longer. When you take them out and then cool them on a wire rack, once they're cooled down, there's one more stage, tiny little stage. There's some sugar left over which you'll have found, okay, from your measurements. You're then going to just melt that with some water in a saucepan, and it's going to be 2 tablespoons of water and a little bit of sugar that you've got left. Just bring it to the boil, which will slightly thicken it, make it a bit syrupy, make sure you don't burn it. So I'm now going to put my lovely chocolate hot cross buns into the oven, and when they're cooked I shall bring them out and show you fingers crossed that they actually look nice. So we're on to the last bit of our hot cross buns, and what I've done is the buns are now cooled from the oven, okay, and here I have my sugar syrup. So I had the remainder of the caster sugar, which I melted in a saucepan with 2 tablespoons of water until it's bubbling. Now be really, really careful of this. Don't let young children near it, because obviously it's really, you know, dangerous if you get sugar syrup onto them, or onto yourself, obviously. So everything's cooled down now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to brush my sugar syrup onto my hot cross bun, and it gives it a lovely shiny glaze, and obviously it gives it a sweeter glaze as well. I'm going to get one of the buns and a plate, and I shall cut it down the centre. Well, it's looking nice. Those are you can see the chocolate bits inside. Can you see that? Okay. And I like butter inside, so I'm going to put some butter. Here is the moment of truth. I'm going to cut a little bit off because I don't really want to be digging my teeth into a massive bun in front of you lot, okay? That's actually really tasty. So tasty, I will have a big bite. That is delicious. So if anyone wants to try the recipe, please do. I'm going to carry on glazing my lovely hot cross buns, and I'm going to say happy Easter to you all. Hope you're having a lovely bank holiday, and I will be back in a few more days. Bye.